Good morning and welcome to Lincoln High School's 9th grade parent-student orientation/information session. My name is Adam Kaufman. I am the 9th grade assistant principal, and I would like to welcome you all to this first ever virtual 9th grade orientation to open the 2020-21 school year. With us here today is Ms. Rodriguez de Fuji, our guidance counselor, and she will be joining us shortly to speak to you a little bit about some things in the presentation. Also joining us is Mr. Ian Sherman, our principal. Mr. Sherman, if you'd like to join us and just to welcome our parents as well.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and to our students, good morning as well, and welcome to Lincoln High School. This school year, as we know, is going to be slightly different than all other school years, but at the same time, a lot of the same things are going to happen. So Mr. Kaufman and Ms. Rodriguez this morning are going to walk you through expectations of 9th graders, expectations of 4 years here at Lincoln High School, and the requirements for graduation. What I would like to remind everybody about is that here at Lincoln High School, we stress the fact that we are a 4-year high school, and our goal and our mission is to make sure that all students graduate in 4 years. Now, parents, the only way we can make this happen is to work as a partnership with our parents. So we need to make sure that we are, paying attention to students' grades on PowerSchool, that we're coming to parent-teacher conferences, that we're responding to emails from teachers, that we're notifying Mr. Kaufman or Ms. Rodriguez if something is happening that we need to be aware of, or if you're just not happy with some of the academics and they need support, we are here to help support you. But this is a 4-year partnership that we need to make sure that we work together in order for our students and children to be successful. I look forward to eventually meeting everybody in person and welcoming you officially to the Lincoln High School family. But we want to go ahead and give you a lot of information today that is going to help you get ready for the first day of instruction in this digital platform on September 8th. So I will be around. I am going to be here in the meeting answering questions. Just a little information about this meeting. You do have the opportunity in a chat room to post questions, and then I will be responding to those questions as Mr. Kaufman is conducting his parent meeting. And then any questions that I feel need to be addressed publicly at the end of the meeting, we will also address that so everybody gets the information. Okay, so please make sure you find that chat room feature there, and you can pose your questions there. And once again, welcome to Lincoln High School. We look forward to a 4-year partnership with each and every one of you. Thank you.
Go ahead, Ms. de Fuji.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ms. Rodriguez de Fuji. I am so excited. Today is the new day for us all. Although we are not here together in the building, but we are going to walk this journey together for the next 4 years. Class of 2024, how exciting. We're going to be going over many things, and we are here and available to support you in every way we can. I want you to know that I've been in the district 23 years and I have a lot of information, but every day is a learning day. So whatever you can teach me, I would be excited to learn. As we work together with distance learning and we begin this journey together, we will be available to assist you as many emails or if you call the office to support you. I will continue to speak to you throughout this orientation. So once again, welcome. I'm really excited, and this is the first day of our journey together.
Thank you very much, Ms. de Fuji. So you guys are going to be spending the next 4 years with this team right here at Lincoln High School. Our teams move together with the students. So for myself and Ms. Rodriguez de Fuji, we're going to start with you in 9th grade, move with you to 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. So it helps to know a little bit about us as well. Just to give you a quick synopsis of who I am. I grew up in Yonkers. I graduated from Roosevelt High School. I won't tell you when, but it was quite a long time ago. This is my 5th year at Lincoln High School. It's my 14th year as an administrator in the district and my 24th year overall. I spent 10 years teaching math before I became an administrator. So suffice to say, between Ms. Rodriguez de Fuji and myself, Mr. Sherman and the administrative team here, we have a wealth of experience in getting students to where they need to be to take those next steps. We'll guide you through the entire process. We will take your hand and work with you on selecting classes, getting you ready for advanced classes, getting you ready for the college process, and ultimately to the goal, which is 4 years from June, graduation of June 2024. 4 years ago, I sat in an auditorium with an incoming class of freshmen, and I challenged them to get a 100% graduation rate. I want every one of you to graduate high school. They met the challenge. They graduated 98.3%. Only 5 students from the class of 2020 did not graduate. So I will put that same challenge to you today, right now, 100% graduation rate. I promise you that we will do everything in our power to get you there. You need to do your part as well. Okay, so Lincoln High School is a regular standard 9 to 12 high school. Myself and Ms. Rodriguez de Fuji are the team that works with the 9th grade. We also have the team that works with our other grades. Mr. Joseph Sage, who is, unfortunately, the assistant principals could not join us this morning. They are in professional development with the teachers. They're trying to get things ready for you guys on Tuesday. But we have Mr. Joseph Sage, who works with our 10th grade, Dr. Sandy Hittar, who works with our 11th grade, and Ms. Jeanette Swanson, who works with our 12th grade. You will see them all around the building. Just because you're a 9th grader doesn't mean you can't ask one of them for help. If you have a situation, if you have an issue, if you have a concern, obviously come to us first. If we're not available, they are absolutely available to help you. We work as a team. We do everything together. So we're all on the same page with everybody. You're going to get to know them the same way you're going to get to know us. Keep in mind as well, guys, this is some new technology. It's a new format for all of us. So if we do run into some technical glitches, I ask that you please bear with us. We are doing the best we can in not the greatest of situations. The information we're going to give you today is current as of today. Most of this information will stay current. However, there are some things that may wind up changing over the course of the next few days or weeks or even months. And as things happen and as things change, we will do our best to make sure that you have all the information you need so that you have current information, you know where you're supposed to be and when you're supposed to be there. And we'll make sure that we get that information to you as quickly as possible. I'm going to talk about how we'll communicate with you a little later. Also, as Mr. Sherman mentioned, there is a live Q&A on your screen. You should be able to open up a Q&A box. If you have any questions at all that I'm not answering or something you think of, type it into that box. Mr. Sherman is monitoring the box and he will be able to respond to any questions that you have. So if there's something that we need to share publicly, we absolutely will. Information breeds confidence. And finally, for those of you that may know other people that weren't able to make this today, I know it's a work day and some people have to work. We're learning the technology as well. And one of the beautiful things about this program is this is being recorded so that later today, the recording will be posted. So all the information that we're sharing with you now, plus all your questions and everything else will all be on the website and accessible that you can watch as many times as you like. Okay. So the Lincoln High School class of 2024, as it stands today, is made up of 320 students, okay, coming from all 31 schools across the district. That is a far cry from what you are used to. Most of you are coming to us from schools where there are 50 or 60 of you, and you're the only ones there, and you were in the 8th grade, you were the kings of the castle, you had been there for 10 years. Now you're coming into a school where you've got 320 9th graders alone. The total enrollment for Lincoln as it stands at this moment is 1,184 students. It is much bigger than what you're used to. Don't worry about that. It's going to feel overwhelming. It's going to feel like you're going to get lost. But we've paired you with your teachers. We put you into groupings that will create a sense of community and a sense of caring, that you're going to get comfortable enough with your teachers, your administrator, your counselor, so that you will start to make that transition and it won't seem as crazy as it sounds. Believe me when I tell you, you're not the only ones. All 8 high schools are large schools, and it's going to be a change. But together, we'll make sure that you guys adjust to it properly. Please don't hesitate if you have concerns, if you have questions, if you're not feeling right. That's what we're here for. Okay, we're here to help you make this adjustment. It's even more difficult because we're doing it all remotely. It's more difficult because we're not actually able to sit with you in an office and speak to you the way we normally would. And believe me when I tell you, Ms. Rodriguez de Fuji and I thrive on that. We spend a lot of time with kids, and we have a lot of kids in our office dealing with whatever issues are coming up. So it's hard for us too, but we will do whatever we can. We'll communicate with you through Teams, through all these different methods, and I promise you we will support you from start to finish. Okay? What does Lincoln look like? Most of you have never been here before. Lincoln looks like it's a large building, and it is. Okay? It's basically a giant rectangle. It's made up of 3 floors. When you come in, you're on the 2nd floor. The main entrance, where you see the Lincoln High School sign, enters you on the 2nd floor in front of the main office. Okay? All the rooms on the 2nd floor start with a 2. It's pretty straightforward. And I showed you some examples, 239, 240, 241. A lot of your 9th grade classes are confined to a wing on the 2nd floor. We call it our 9th grade wing or our small learning community wing. We want to keep you guys in an area where you can get comfortable with the other 9th graders. Most of your classes are in that area. And you, again, just so you can adjust to the building. The 9th grade office is also on the 2nd floor. That's in room 219. It's away from the classrooms. It's on the side of the building where the library is. When you actually get here, we will make sure that you get a better tour of the building, obviously. But the 9th grade office is on the 2nd floor in room 219. And as you would imagine, 1st floor rooms start with a 1, 114, 115, 116. 3rd floor rooms start with a 3. It's all pretty straightforward and obvious. The cafeteria, the gymnasium are on the 1st floor. And again, you're going to walk in here those first couple of days when we eventually get to hybrid learning or when we're finally back in full swing. And the first question you're going to have is, how do I get to this room? How do I get to that room? How do I get to this room? There will be people all over the building waiting for you to answer that question, because we know that there's 320 of you that have absolutely no idea where you're going when you walk through the door. Okay? But that's something that we'll take care of when it gets closer. For now, just know how we're laid out. Like I said, it's a giant rectangle, and it's one of the bigger schools in the district, but that's okay. We make great use of our space. Okay. How are you graded in high school? Very, very simple. It's very similar to the way you were graded in middle school. In terms of your actual grades, you're graded on a 100-point scale. Each marking period, your teachers will give you a numerical grade based on the work you've done and the quality to which you've done it to. Final grades for any class are made up of the 4 marking periods and the final exam. There is a change that actually occurred last year. Most people don't know about, because before people actually got the chance to realize it, the pandemic hit and schools were closed. But last year, the Board of Education chose to eliminate midterm exams from the final averages. So nowadays, it's 4 marking periods, 22.5% each, and 10% for your final exam would make up your quarterly grade. Every marking period, we recognize those students that perform to a high level. We give honors every quarter, just like they do in middle school. Honor roll, which is an overall average of 85 for the marking period. We recognize high honor roll, which is an overall average of 90 for the marking period. And we recognize the principals list, which is an overall average of 90, but no grade lower than a 90. For high honor roll, you can have a grade that's lower as long as the average works out. For principals list, all grades 90 or above to make the principals list. And I challenge all of you to set that as your goal. Okay? The one thing you're going to learn, especially real quick in high school, is that if you start to set goals for yourself that are minimal, you may achieve them, but you may not, and then you're in a lot of problems. Okay, and I did put on the bottom a grade of 65 or higher is needed to earn a credit. If you set your goal for a 65, you may get it, but you may not. And now you're sitting here failing classes. Set your goal for 95, set your goal for 100. I don't care if you don't get to the 100, but if you can reach an 85 or a 90 while you're trying for 100, it puts you in a much better position. The one thing you have to remember is that everything you do from this day forward reflects on your transcript, reflects on your college applications, reflects on your quote-unquote permanent record, so that when you're applying to colleges, they're seeing all of it. So if you start to slack off in the first market period thinking, oh, I don't have to do this, I don't have to do that, that's going to hurt you down the line. So set your sights really, really high, okay? So you've heard me use the word, and a lot of people are confused by it when they get into high school. So let's answer the question, what is a credit? Well, when you're in elementary school, right up through 8th grade, you had to pass 3 out of your 4 core classes in order to move to the next grade. Core classes are the ones that in middle school are known for math, English, science, and social studies. And as long as you passed 3 out of those 4, it didn't matter what you did with the rest of it, you got moved to the next grade whether you were ready or not. Well, in high school, it's a little different. In high school, we use credits, okay? When you pass a class, you earn a credit for that class. If the class is a half-year class, like a gym class or a health class, and you pass that class, you earn half a credit. It's based on the number of hours that you're spending in the class and how much seat time you have. in order to get a full credit for a class or whatever the designation is. In order to graduate high school, you have to earn 22 credits. Now you notice there's something on the slide that says grade levels don't really mean much. What I mean by that is this: you're entering now as 9th graders. You're going to earn whatever credits you earn this year. Next year, you are going to be listed as 10th graders at Lincoln High School. That is going to happen whether you earn 8 credits this year, 4 credits this year, or no credits this year. Your grade level will continue to move with you and continue to move up every year. But in order to graduate from high school, you need 22 credits. So don't think 4 years from now and say, well, I'm on the 12th grade, I have to graduate. You haven't earned the 22 credits, you're not going to be able to graduate. On the left-hand side of the screen, so you have an idea of what it looks like, is a sample of a high school transcript. This is actually the transcript of one of our seniors that I borrowed, that she doesn't even know I borrowed, but I took her name off, so it's okay. And as you look, if you notice, it shows each year, and it starts, if you notice in the top left corner, with 8th grade. It shows each year all the high school credits that this student attempted and earned. And you notice some of them say 1 credit, some of them say half credit. That's based on the length of the class, okay? And it has their final grade on there. It also lists on the bottom right corner all your Regents exams and what the grades are for those exams, okay? So like I said, everything you do is going to be recorded, and it's going to be checked by not only us, but whatever colleges you apply to, whatever institution you might be heading to after this year, after you graduate from Lincoln High School. Okay, so how do you know what to take? For that, I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Fuji, and she's going to explain to you what classes you're going to be taking each year and how it's going to be checked by us.
Hi, everyone. First of all, I wanted to say that last year, your year ended very challenging, but this year is an opportunity to start a new beginning, and it allows you the opportunity to start fresh. So as I review the courses that you're going to need to take, it is important to keep in mind that to stay on track would allow you to earn the credits that Mr. Kaufman just shared and keep you on track to graduate. If you don't pass the classes, then we will have to have you go to credit recovery in the evenings after school. So the classes that you're going to be mandated to take the credits are English 9, 10, 11, and 12. Those are the 4 credits that you're mandated to take. Then you have a Global 9, Global 10, US History in 11th grade, and Eco and Gov your senior year. You have math, you'll take algebra, geometry, trigonometry. Depending on your level of math, you can take statistics, pre-calculus, or calculus, or AP calculus. For science, you're going to take living environment, earth science, chemistry, and if anything else is available at the time when you are a junior, then there will be other options as well. It is important that you understand that you must take gym every year. It is a state mandate that you take gym every year. Sometimes you may double up on gym. That doesn't mean that you don't get it next year because that covers it. No, you have to take it every year. So it is your responsibility, as you saw the sample transcript, that you make sure that you're following the courses that you need to take. I will be meeting with you individually so that I can discuss this in more detail to help you get acclimated to it. You're going to take art and music, either art or music. You need 1 year credit to graduate. You're going to take health. Health is mandatory, but it's only half a credit. You're going to take language, and you're going to take 3.5 credit electives. Electives that we offer, Mr. Kaufman will speak to you in a little bit, but it is very important that you understand that you must take 3.5 credits of elective. So let's say if you start freshman year and you took 1 elective, but for whatever reason you didn't do it second year, you already are going to be behind on 1 credit of elective. So it's very important that you are following the credits. I will guide you, I will work with you every year to help you. We sit down, we review what classes you're taking, what credits you need, where am I putting you for the following year. So we will have 10-minute meetings that I'm going to be scheduling. So I will assist you individually to understand this process better.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rodriguez and Fuji. In addition to the courses that are listed here, by the way, I just want to also mention, we offer a host of advanced placement courses for our students here at Lincoln High School that if you successfully complete the courses and pass the AP exams, we'll get you college credit way before you ever get there. And believe it or not, those AP courses start in the 10th grade. So we offer, for your information, AP World History, which is done in the 10th grade. We also offer AP US History, and we offer AP Art, AP Statistics. We offer 3 sciences, AP Chemistry, AP Biology, AP Environmental Science. We also offer AP English Language. We offer AP English Literature, AP Spanish Language, and AP Spanish Literature. So if there's a demand for more, we can always add more courses. As we see what our students are doing and we see how well it's working, we can always add those on. But the goal here is to get you in a position where you're not doing the minimum. The goal here is to get you to the point where you're excelling so that when it comes time for you to apply to colleges just 3 short years from now, and believe me, when I say short, I mean 3 short years from now, when you're applying to colleges, you want to stand out. You want the colleges to look at you and say, wow, I want this kid in my school. So we encourage you not to go for a minimum. We want as many advanced diplomas as we can possibly get. The advanced diploma is the same 22 credits that you need for a regular diploma, with the one exception. You need 3 years of a world language. It's a sequence in world languages, not just a regular 1 year, okay? Instead of having to pass 5 Regents exams, we want you to pass 9 Regents exams. And you know what? You're taking the courses anyway. So it's not like we're asking you to go above and beyond. You're already going to be taking algebra and geometry and trig. So if you can do the work that you need to do, you take those Regents, you pass those 9 Regents exams. The addition here, you can see it's an extra science, 2 extra math, and the world language checkpoint B exam or something of its equivalent like an AP exam. You can qualify for an advanced diploma. That makes you stand out when you're applying to colleges, okay? Even beyond that, if you can do all of those things and get an 85 or better on all those exams, you can graduate with an advanced diploma with distinction. And again, all these things make you stand out when you're talking about colleges, when you're talking about applying someplace, when you're looking to be the valedictorian. I guarantee you there's someone sitting in this audience watching right now thinking to themselves, I'm going to be the valedictorian of Lincoln High School, class of 2024. And you know what? You should start thinking like that, because that's something you work at from day one. It doesn't roll off the bed to you in 12th grade year. The valedictorian of the class that just graduated took the lead from freshman year and never gave it up. She was the top student in 9th grade, and she stayed with it all the way through 12th grade. And for your information, she is now in a scholarship in a 7-year program that will get her a medical degree by the time she's done, fully paid for, and most likely be my doctor when I'm older and I'm not able to take care of myself. Okay, so again, you want to push yourself, push yourself, push yourself to continue to achieve the best to your potential as you possibly can, because it can only help you down the road. Okay. Some other things about our school. Lincoln High School is broken up into academies. Okay. The academies are based on areas of interest, and your curriculum will have a focus in those different areas. When you balloted for Lincoln High School, you balloted for a specific academy. Okay, those academies are indicated in your registration information. So we've assigned you classes this year based on what you balloted for. We have the Academy of Finance, which is our business and finance classes, and some technology classes like computers and internet marketing and things of that nature, and that's run by Ms. Joanne Marcellos. We have our Arts Industries Academy, which is run by Mr. Ross Porter. Those include not only the visual arts, but also the graphic arts. We also offer an extensive woodshop program, which includes stagecraft and scenic design and things of that nature. Okay. We have our Academy of Scientific Research and Inquiry, run by Dr. Dean Sagafi, who's an amazing, amazing teacher. And the program for scientific research and inquiry, our students compete at the level of every school in the area. We go to the Westchester Engineering and Science. Oh God, I can't remember the acronym. It's the Westchester Engineering and Science. It'll come to me, I apologize. But again, it's the WESF competition. where we compete against other schools in the region. We compete against other schools in terms of the research projects and everything else. And I have to tell you, these kids present their research projects at various events throughout the year to us as well. I'm a smart guy and I sit there stumped. I don't know what they're talking about at the time, because the work they're doing is at the college level. The presentations are at the college level. We're constantly being told by those in the community, by those in the scientific community, about the level of work and the quality of work that our students are producing in that program. So again, it's a fantastic program, and you guys have now validated for these different programs, you know, for your students for the next 4 years. That's where your concentration will be. The Academy of Learning is for our IEP students. That's run by Ms. Vituli. She is one of the most caring individuals I've ever met. She will handle anything and everything that comes along for your children when they have anything going on with their academics, with their social emotional well-being. She really is on top of everything, and the teachers in that department, the teachers in the Academy of Learning are an amazing group of individuals who work extremely well together to prepare your students, and not just to get by, but again, to excel. So that's the basic structure of our magnet programs. Our bell schedule, and this is subject to change at this point, the expectation is that we will be following a bell schedule that you see on the screen, okay? And I'll talk to you as well about PowerSchool in a minute. You'll also find that bell schedule in PowerSchool on your schedule. But the bell schedule we follow is 47-minute periods with 4 minutes passing in between the periods. Now, obviously, when you're in school, that 4 minutes is spent going from one class to the next. For the remote model, the expectation is that you will be logging in at the beginning of each of those periods. So when you log in on Tuesday for first period, you're going to log in at 7:45. Your teacher will finish by 8:32. They may even finish a few minutes before, that's fine. Then you will be able to log off of that class and you'll log into your next class at 8:36 and so on and so forth throughout the day. Most of the 9th graders eat lunch. They have their lunch period at 5. We try to group the 9th graders for lunch together as best we can. So when period 5 comes at 11:09, log off, go have lunch, go have something to drink, use the restroom, whatever it is you're going to do to relax for 47 minutes, and be ready to go again at 12 o'clock when period 6 starts, okay? Your teachers are going to talk more about how it works interactively when you do log in and what their expectations are, you know, when you need to use the restroom. I mean, you excuse yourself, it's going to be pretty straightforward. But the expectation is that this is the bell schedule we will be following beginning on Tuesday, right from the get-go. It'll also be the expectation that we're following this bell schedule when we eventually convert to the hybrid model on October 5th. So when you're in school, even if you're only in school for 2 days of the week, this will be the bell schedule we'll follow for your classes for those 2 days of the week, okay? Student Metro cards. Most of you getting to school back and forth for the last 10 years have been taking school buses. Unless you have a specific accommodation, that doesn't happen anymore. The district now has provided subsidy so that high school students use the public Beeline system, okay? The way it works is very, very simple. You guys will purchase Metro cards here at Lincoln on a monthly basis. If you were purchasing these outside, if the public was purchasing them, they're $116 a month and you have unlimited use. The district has set it up so that student Metro cards are half the price of the public Metro cards, $58 per month. You can use them school days between 5 a.m. and I want to say 7 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. It might be 6 p.m. Don't quote me. But you can use them within limited hours on school days for $58 a month, okay? Each month, you come to room 219 and you pay your monthly fee and your card continues to stay active. Twice a year, we issue cards. We issue the first set of cards in the beginning of the school year, which we would be doing on Tuesday if we were here. We do it again in February. And because of the volume, rather than having 400 kids come to this office, we actually come down to the cafeteria during the lunch periods. So those first large issuances of cards will happen in the cafeteria, all right? And then each month, you would pay your $58 a month. If you qualify, you can obtain a free Metro card by going to the Board of Education and applying for one. There is an application that they have there at the Transportation Department. It's on the first floor at the Board of Education. You must bring with you a current budget sheet from the Department of Social Services, meaning something within the last year. Without that, they will not process your application. When you bring that to the Department of Transportation, they process your application, they update it in our computers, and then we issue you that bus pass for free. and we'll issue it again the same way. We issue it once in September, once in January, and those are good for the entire year, so you don't have to pay for it. But again, you have to qualify. Those are not automatic. They're not going to look at it and say, oh, this person, you must fill out the application and bring it to them at the Board of Education. We have 7 buses that are specifically set up for Lincoln High School through the Beeline system. They start at they start at various points throughout the city in the morning, and they end at Lincoln High School. Okay, and then at the end of the day, they line up in front of Lincoln High School and they go to the various points throughout the city. Again, more information we can give you. If you have questions about that, we can send you a copy of the school bus schedule. There's specific routes that are designed just for Lincoln High School. They don't go anywhere else. Maybe 2 stops along the way. A lot of them wind up back in Getty Square. Some of them wind up in different points based on where you live. Okay. Student email accounts. I don't know how you guys got communicated with in elementary school. Doesn't matter. At this point now, going forward, your communication method, your main method of communication will be through your student email accounts. It's the best way to reach you. It's the most efficient way to reach you. And it's the most efficient way for you to reach us. Every single student in the Yonkers Public Schools has a student email account. It is your ID number at yonkerspublicschools.org, your 6-digit ID number. For those of you that don't know your 6-digit ID number, get to know it. It's on every document you ever get from the school district. Get to know it. It's the same code you punch in the cafeteria when you're paying for your lunch. If you don't know it, get to know it. It's going to be what you use here for a very, very long time. For the next 4 years, it's going to be how everything identifies you. Okay, it's going to be how you log into computers. It's going to be how you access PowerSchool, email accounts, everything. So you want to make sure there's in the welcome packet that we mailed home to you, and I actually have it on the screen, is a flyer that explains how to log in and access your district email account. It's through Office 365, which can be accessed anywhere in the world via the World Wide Web, the internet, okay? And it shows you how to log in, enter your password, click on Outlook, and you'll have all your email accounts. You can send emails to any one of us. We are constantly checking, but that's going to be the primary method. So going forward, if you haven't already done so, log in, access your email account, activate it, get it up and running, because once school starts, that's how I, Ms. Rodriguez de Fuji, and the administration will be communicating with you completely 100%. We will continue to send out the connected phone calls that you got. But you know, phone numbers change frequently, and we want to make sure we have current information. So in addition to the phone calls, we'll send emails to go with it. You'll see emails that come from Mr. Sherman. It says Ian Sherman on the top, and it'll be an email about something that might be going on. If it's something that I've sent to you, it will still say it's from him, but my signature will be at the bottom, so you know it's from me. So it might be grade specific versus school-wide. Okay. The next thing you have to learn how to access, if you don't already know, is how to access PowerSchool. PowerSchool for you parents is the source of all the information that you need about your child's academic progress. It's where you'll find their schedules. We're not mailing out schedules. They're all on PowerSchool. It's where you can track their attendance. It's where you will see their progress reports. It's where you will see their grades. It's also a very easy shortcut if you want to email one of your child's teachers. On the PowerSchool pages are links to the teachers. You literally click on their name and it will open up an email that you can send directly to the teacher. The teachers also have the same email system that the rest of us do. They check their emails regularly, and again, it's the best way to communicate. It's hard to get a teacher on the phone when they're teaching. It's much easier if you send them an email and you can communicate. I would recommend to all parents that anytime you send emails to your children's teachers, that you copy either myself or Ms. Rodriguez de Fuji on the email, so that we know that there's been an inquiry, we know that there's been a question, and if there's any concerns, we've been involved in it from the beginning, so we can address it for you in case we need to. Your teachers are very good about returning emails. You know, they're very thorough, and they're very good about getting back to you. But occasionally things happen, and somebody might, you know, miss something or overlook it unintentionally, not to try to, you know, not to ignore it, but it does happen. So this way we can follow up as well in case there's any issues. And again, as you see, there's the flyer. We included that in a welcome packet. It tells you how to access PowerSchool. You're going to do that right from the Yonkers Public Schools homepage. There's a little button on it that says PowerSchool. And again, your 6-digit ID number and your password. Your password is your 8-digit date of birth, the student's 8-digit date of birth. And they've set it up that way so it's easy to remember. You don't have to worry about it. It's very simple to access. The way the 8-digit works, it's your 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and 4-digit year. Okay? So if my birthday was April 7th, 2001, it would be 04072001. I don't know if that was, if I was close. No, I used a different example on the sheet, but it still works. Okay? You don't have to worry about changing it. From there, once you get in, you'll see all the different things you can access. You can access grades. You can access transcripts. That's grade history, attendance history, teacher comments, reports, all the different things that are in there. Okay, it's a very, very comprehensive program. It's really, really useful. That's going to be your source of all the information. That's where you get report cards and everything else. Okay. And finally, accessing Microsoft Teams. As you've heard by now, and as we're going to continue to emphasize, the main platform for teaching and learning for the time being, when we're on the remote and when we're in our hybrid models, is Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams can be accessed almost the same way you access your Outlook account, your email account, okay, by going into the Office 365 portal. Again, once again, that same flyer that you see on the screen was included in your packet on how to log in. That is the place where the students will find each of their classes. So on Tuesday morning, when they're ready to log in, they're going to log into Microsoft Teams. If their first period class is Ms. Smith for Earth Science, then you'll see a class called Earth Science, Ms. Smith, period 1. They click on the class, and they will have access to the class, and Ms. Smith will be able to see them and take attendance and everything else. Okay, and again, your teachers will give more information about how they're going to approach their classes, how they're going to conduct their classes, the expectations when they're in the classroom. But that's going to be the main source of our teaching and learning for the time that we're in the remote and for the time that we're in the hybrid. Okay. Finally, if you need to contact any of us, here is the contact information for the school. And again, for those of you, you don't have to scramble to write it down. This presentation will be posted again on our website if you need to see it. All this information, I know I'm going through it somewhat quickly, but I want to make sure that I'm respectful of your time. It's, you know, it's almost 10:40, and I want to make sure I know a lot of you have to go back to work. If you need to contact the school, the phone number is 376-8400, and I've included the email addresses for myself, Ms. Rodriguez de Fuji, and Mr. Sherman. And again, when you replay this, you can go back and forth, fast forward and rewind, so you can just pause it on the screen, and you have the access to it. Okay. So with that, I'm going to ask Mr. Sherman. I know he's been hitting all of the questions on there. There's been quite a few of them. Mr. Sherman, was there anything that we needed to address that we haven't addressed?
One of the questions that kept coming up about sports here in the high school. And since you're not just a 9th grade assistant principal, but you're also the assistant principal in charge of sports, take a couple of minutes to explain to them about, you know, September 21st and about what sports are allowed based on the guidelines from New York State, and how that whole process goes.
Absolutely. So sports has been a real tricky piece of information for the fall right now. Over the summer, the governor indicated that he was not comfortable with fall sports starting on time. He was concerned about the contact level. He was concerned about the spread of the virus. So he broke up all the different sports into 3 categories: low impact, medium impact, and high impact, based on the level of contact in each sport. The latest update from the governor, which was back on August 21st or 22nd, I believe, was that in the high schools, all sports are delayed until September 21st, but they cannot start until September 21st. Normally, they would have started on August 24th, so they're about a month behind. And low and medium impact sports only can start practicing and playing. Now, they put some restrictions on those sports as to how far they can travel. Right now, they're only allowed to travel in a local radius. They're not allowed to travel outside the section, so there's some limitations. High impact sports were restricted to the point that only can begin practicing on September 21st. And it says practice, and I'm reading directly from the governor's narrative, where contact between players may only be incidental, and activities that are designed to promote close contact are prohibited, which essentially takes football out of the mix. They will give guidance as to whether or not they can play games sometime before December 31st is the way it was listed. So right now, the sports that are held in limbo for Lincoln High School are football, which we have a combined team with three other schools, with Palisade Prep, Saunders, and Riverside, and volleyball. Football and volleyball are right now on the delay. They're considered high impact sports. So right now, football and volleyball would be permitted to practice but not play. Our soccer teams so far have the green light to go ahead, start practicing on the 21st, and start playing in their games. So if you are interested, if your child is interested in playing a sport, what you need to do at this point is to go to the Board of Ed and let them know you're there for a physical form. If they've had a physical from their doctor within the last 2 years, there's just a health status review form that the parent needs to fill out and sign, and they can go ahead and start the process of clearing them for the sport. But you need to do that sooner rather than later, because it does take a while to clear them. There's only one person in the office that has the ability, unfortunately, due to the budget cuts. We're shorthanded in the athletic office at the district, so it is taking time, but I know they're working around the clock trying to clear athletes. I have gotten some phone calls from some ninth graders that were interested. I've directed them there. And if you're not sure, you have more questions, by all means, you can always call us, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about sports. Again, this could change at a moment's notice. If the governor decides that he wants it a certain way or a different way, he can always change it. But as it stands now, the low and medium impact sports are cleared to go. And for us in this building, that includes boys and girls soccer, and the ones that are on hold are football, volleyball, and cheer, which at this point we're not pushing anyway. So,
thank you, Mr. Cole. A couple other things that are coming up in the chat room that I want to address with everybody is students can, if they want, once we go into a hybrid model, you can bring your own computer to school to use it to take notes. However, if it's not a school or a district computer, you will not have access to the Wi-Fi. So any internet-based programs, unless you have your own personal hotspot, will not be working. But you could bring a computer in if you wanted to take notes, if you wanted to use Microsoft Word. Those aren't internet-based. You're able to go ahead and do that. So yes, you can do that. You can bring in your iPad or computer, and you can take your notes in class on that. But just be mindful that I cannot give you access to the Wi-Fi because it is a secure network that the district does not allow outside computers onto for various reasons. Additionally, questions I saw about schedules. Schedules should now be active as of today, September 3rd, in PowerSchool. Mr. Kaufman just spoke about how to access PowerSchool. So again, just as a reminder, PowerSchool is the student information system. That is where students will go ahead and see their schedule. Parents, you can modify, you can monitor it, and you can get, log on with your own accounts, check your child's attendance. And the majority of my teachers here at Lincoln High School use the grade book built into the program. So they will also be going and posting grades for assignments. So you don't need to wait for a progress report or a report card to see how our child is doing. As long as you go ahead and monitor PowerSchool, you will know how they're doing each and every day between attendance and assignments. So make sure you know how to log on to PowerSchool. Mr. Kaufman had the slide up, plus the mailing that we sent home, which I'm hoping you all received. That mailing had in the flyers on it that, Mr. Kaufman shared on his PowerPoint about how to go about logging on. Additionally, our website has a wealth of information with handouts, videos, tutorials, everything you need to get comfortable at all of these digital platforms between PowerSchool, Microsoft Teams. Everything is there for you. We're trying to get you as comfortable as possible. So that's where you will find your schedule. The question I also saw, which I think is a phenomenal question, it's with regards to our academies. Students can opt to change academies, but we tried to do that by the end of 9th grade and then lock you into an academy. And the reasoning for that, excuse me, is because our academies follow a sequence of classes. So if you went, and picked a new academy every single year, you would begin again at the beginning class, the 9th grade level class, and you would never work towards actually working on the higher levels in those academies and graduating appropriately from that academy. So you can change academies, but we try to really lock you in by end of 9th grade so that you can follow the sequence all throughout school. Okay. As far as I saw a question too about Spanish, the art and music, the schedule for 9th graders is pretty generic because we know what it is that you need to set the foundation. When you go ahead and meet with Ms. Rodriguez de Fuji to start building your schedule for next year, then you'll have the conversation about, foreign languages, the arts, the music classes, and how that fits into your schedule. So you will be able to sign up for those classes. But again, 9th grade is pretty generic. 10th grade is where we start to go ahead and really personalize everybody's schedule for them on that nature. I'm just going to scroll through and see. There's a question about getting your schedule through Microsoft Teams. Again, that the schedule itself is on PowerSchool. All the classes will take place on Teams. Now, let me explain the difference. We're using Microsoft Teams right now. This is what we call a live event. Okay, classes will not be taking place in a live event. Classes will be taking place in what Microsoft Teams refers to as a meeting. The difference between the two, a live event right now, the only interaction that our participants can have is the chat room. You can only post questions. Because we wanted to make this a public meeting that any parent can join us with, we had to do it this way. Our students, since they're members, obviously, of our learning community, they have logins. So all of their classes are meetings, which means it's a two-way communication between them and the teacher. They will be able to unmute themselves. They can show themselves on camera, but it is a two-way conversation as opposed to this, which is a one-way conversation. So there is a big difference between the two events. So classes will not be like this. They might look similar, but there will be more interaction for students along with their teachers. Okay. There was a question about the bus assignments, the bus schedules. We will go ahead and post all of our bus routes and bus schedules on our website too. We'll make sure that we add a tab that says bus routes because I do know that the B line actually was updating 2 of our bus lines. So we'll make sure that we make that available on our website well before October 5th so that you have that information. So please continue to check our website because we will put all information there. And if you're not getting our phone calls, please email Mr. Kaufman with a correct email and a correct phone number. We do a lot of communication via our automated system. You get messages from me, messages from Mr. Kaufman, emails as well. We are also very active on social media, so please follow the school on our Twitter account or Instagram account for updates and activities that are also going on there. Any other questions come up just now, Mr. Kaufman, that I didn't see in the interim?
No, I saw a couple of questions that were more personalized. There's somebody about an application for a Chromebook who I responded to privately.
Mr. Kaufman, off the top of your head, do you know the PowerSchool?
I'm looking it up as we speak. I'm trying to locate it as we speak. I off the top of my head, I don't remember it, but I'm trying to look it up now. I noticed that one.
Okay. So we will get that code for PowerSchool because when you download the app, it does ask for that code. But if you go on the website, if you go from Google Chrome or the Internet Explorer, it's not going to ask you for that. You go directly to the website. But if you download the app, you definitely need the district code. And we'll get that for you. We'll send that out and make sure you have that.
While I'm looking that up, I'm also seeing there's a question about what are you guys doing about tryouts for sports? Again, once you go ahead and fill out the health status review, that information will be given to the coaches as soon as you have it done, and the coaches will reach out and contact the players about tryouts. Again, they don't start until September 21st, so that's why I suggest if you're going to do it now, do it quickly, so that when September 21st comes, you're already on their system, and the coaches know who you are and what it is that whatever your status is. I see a question here, Mr. Sherman, about open house. Do you want to address the question about how we're going to do open house?
Open house date is still being finalized with central office, and we are working on that. But we are going to go ahead and if we have open house in September, it will be a virtual open house this way where you have the opportunity to hear from teachers and hear from the administration again. But we will send that information with regards to our open house and how that works. There's a question also, I'm assuming the students asking this question. No, you do not need to show your face on camera. If you're uncomfortable having your camera on in your room, or wherever you are taking your class from, by all means, you can turn your camera off. You do not need to have your camera on. I would love to, encourage you to turn your camera on, but that's all about how you feel and how comfortable you are with that. but it's not mandated that you take that on. My ninth graders, there are no ninth grade AP classes. We have Century Honors classes, and then our first AP class is in 10th grade. So they get introduced in 10th grade to the honors classes.
Okay. Next question says, my bus comes at 7:10 a.m. It takes 45 minutes to get to school. What do I do? Take an earlier bus. If you have a bus that takes you 45 minutes, there is a bus, I'm sure, that comes before 7:10. You might be looking at the general public buses for that. There might be something closer to your house that's specific to Lincoln. If you want, give me a call, shoot me an email, and tell me where you live, and I can look and see. We do have 7 of them, and there's 7 different routes. That's why I didn't get into all the details of it today. But depending on where you live, it might be a really easy route that takes a lot less time. Next question I see, is there a form of a basketball program? The answer to that is yes. Basketball is played in the winter. As of now, we don't know what the future of indoor sports is, because again, we're going to be waiting on guidance from the governor as to how that's going to go. As it gets closer to the winter, we will certainly know. So just again, we'll keep you apprised of all of these things as they happen, and as they change. Next question, is there any material from the school that we need to get personally? At this point, I would say no. You have your laptop, and if you applied for one or if you needed one, that's pretty much all you're going to need at this point. We have a lot of online textbooks that are available. Teachers will be creating content as well to be posted onto the Microsoft Teams or possibly on their websites and different locations throughout the internet that you're going to be using. So at this point, my answer would be no, because there's really no method of distribution right now that doesn't involve bringing people into school, which unfortunately we can't do yet. Are you seeing anything else, Mr. Sherman? I'm still working on finding that code. I apologize.
Yeah, I've been looking for it. I can't find that.
Give me a couple of minutes. Okay, Mr. Sage posted the answer. I don't know if you published it. The Chromebooks were offered by the district. So if you applied and you haven't heard back, call 376-8000. You're going to ask for Dr. Arias. That's her office. That's got the Chromebooks that are being distributed. I believe the ones that we had here have all been distributed, but they do have more in central office. So you will be able to get one from them as well. Okay. Where can we get an application for a Chromebook? Those applications, I know they were on the website. Is that still active, Mr. Sherman? Applications for the Chromebooks?
The district one is active still, yes.
Okay, the district one is active, so you can go on the district website and you find the application for the Chromebook on the district website.
I'll also publish the link right now into the chat.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sage. He's going to publish the link as well. What if we can't get a hold of a device to start classes? Honestly, you can download Microsoft Teams to your phone. So believe it or not, at this point right now, just get yourself on there so your teachers can see your face, so they know who you are, so you know who they are. Look, it's hard enough starting a new school in the beginning of a school year under regular circumstances. It's got to be multiplied by a factor of about 150 when you consider the fact that you have no idea who any of these people are. So you look on your schedule and you see a name and your first question is, okay, who is this person? Who is my English teacher? Who is my science teacher? My math teacher? So the goal for next week, to be honest with you, is for you to just get to know your teachers, to see who they are, to start to develop some relationships with them so that you can be successful. Yes, you're going to be doing work. I'm not telling you that it's going to be a week of hi, how are you? But that first day is really going to be a lot more of just, hi, my name is, I'm introducing myself. This is what our class is going to look like. It's not going to be something that they're going to walk in and the first thing they say to you is, okay, take out a pen and paper and write this, essay on whatever. I mean, there's got to be a little bit of a build here. It's not like you're walking into a classroom for the first time. So it's going to be a little different than what you guys are used to, than what any of us are used to. Look, I said it before, I've been 24 years in this district, and Mr. Sherman mentioned that on our first day back with the rest of the staff and PD, no matter how many years you have as an educator, as a student, as a parent, this is new for all of us. So there's going to be some bumps along the road. There's going to be some trip ups and some things that we can't answer right away. There's certainly going to be some areas where we look and say, wow, we need to do this differently and we need to fix it. So please, 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 if you're having issues, if you're having problems, if there are concerns, by all means reach out, whether it's telephone, email, whatever method you're comfortable with. Reach out to us and tell us what it is you need so that we can do everything in our power to get it for you. I'm looking at the clock and it's about 10:55.
Hey, Mr. Corbin, before you, say goodbye to everybody else, there's a couple other things that